I'm sorry that it's taken me this long to get this video out, but this is part 2 of How to Play And So It Goes by Billy Joel. In the previous video, we worked on the main part of the song, which is used for both the introduction and the verse. In this video, part 2, we'll focus on the chorus, and then in part 3, we'll do the outro. Now I promise part 3 will be released after this video. It will be the next upload that I make, which will hopefully be within a week or two of the release of this video. So stay tuned for that, but with all that being said, here is middle C for reference. Let me demonstrate phrase 1 of the chorus. That is the first phrase. Just as a quick note before we jump into the tutorial, I will be playing all these phrases nice and slow, which is obviously to benefit the tutorial, but also to make sure that we don't get any copyright strikes and have this video removed. So again, I'll play through everything very slowly, and those are the reasons for doing that. Now we're going to start looking at our right hand. All we do is begin with a C major triad. C, E, G. The C we play by itself, but with the E we bring in our left hand. And all we're going to do here is play an E minor chord. So with the E in our right hand, our left hand adds both B and G, which gives us E, G, B, an E minor chord, but with the B as the root note of the bass, if you will. So just C by itself, then E with B and G. We then play this G here with the bottom G as well. So we've got a little octave. That takes us into this chord, which I think is a G minor add 11. Which of course is over the B flat, because in our left hand we have got B flat as our lowest note, then G, the same G from before, and what we've got in our right hand is D, G, and then C on top. So there is G minor add 11. Once more, B flat, G, D, G, C. Once you play this chord together, our right hand will then immediately go to an E, and then up to an A, telling us to go to an A chord. In this instance, we've got an A minor 7 chord. A, root note in the bass, A, C, and then G for your minor 7. A, C, G. I got distracted. So from the beginning, you've got the C triad into the G minor, add 11, E, A, go to the A minor 7, which finishes on the note F. So you got A minor, with that little F leading us into the next phrase, which sounds like this. So what we've got there, let's start with our right hand, is just the notes D and G. After you play this, we also then do the notes C to F by themselves. With the D and G, our left hand is going to play this G, and down here, this A flat. Together, that doesn't sound great, but it's really nice falling down to this F in the left hand. So our left hand is just playing A flat with the G, holding that down, dropping the G to an F. Keep holding down that A flat there. And once you play this F is when in your right hand you'd go C to F. So you've got the D and G with the A flat G, Switch down to F in your left hand, C to F in your right hand. Right hand then drops down to a C major chord, G, C, E, while your left hand plays G and D. So back from here. G, D, then becomes A and E. So everything just moves up one. As the right hand essentially just takes this G and turns it into an A on top. So you keep your C and E from the C major chord, but then we switch up from C major to this A minor. So A on top with the C and E again. We play that chord with the A and E. So it's essentially C major over the G to an A minor chord. You're then going to play the A again, dropping down to your E, which takes us into the third phrase of the chorus, and actually the end of the first half of the chorus. So let's run that through from the D and G again. Drop down to F, C, then F down to a C major chord with G and D in the bass. Switch up to an A minor chord, A and E in the left hand. A down to E in your right. So an easy way to remember that is it's the same notes that you're playing in your left hand. And we may as well go back from the beginning of the chorus. So phrase 1 and phrase 2 together, just for a little bit of revision, is this. C major triad, C, E with the left hand, B and G giving us an E minor chord. Both of the G's again, into G minor at 11, E, A to an A chord, F into the second phrase, D and G, F, C to F, C major, A minor, A and E to finish the phrase. Next we go to D major with the C, giving us a D7 chord, a D dominant 7. So starting with our left hand, we've got F sharp and D. Right hand's going to play F sharp, A, C, and then the D. So here is your D major chord with your 7. You flatten the 7th, giving you a D dominant 7 chord. Again with F sharp and D in the bass. Play the D major chord, and then just the note C, which then has a beautiful cadence right here. Both times our left hand is playing just G and D, which we did a little bit before. Two of those. The first one we play G, C, D in the right hand, G, C, D, and then just G, B, D. So it's this G suspended 4th chord, G sus4 to G major. So that bit all over again is just very simply D major, dominant 7, D7, and then G suspended, G major. Let's go from the introduction, or the first part of phrase 2. C major, A minor, into the D7, sus4, then G major. Now that is the first half of the chorus. And what we're going to do for the second half of the chorus is we actually, if we split it now into quarters, you've got first quarter, second quarter, you basically just play the first quarter all over again, so the first and second phrase. And what that will sound like is, we'll learn how to play this little lead back bit that takes you into the next half, but essentially this little bit which is new, and then you go back to the G minor 11 chord over the B flat. That's all the same. All the same, and then you got this annoying little. The only difference is from there you'd normally play C, F, but this time we go C, G, and then you go into the final quarter of the chorus, if you will. So how we get from the first half into the second half is pretty simple. So we finished on the G major chord. All we do is play C by itself, just middle C. Then right hand plays this C major chord that we played before, G, C, and E. Left hand plays just the root bass note, so just a C. C, G, C, E, and then even simpler, B and G. B in the left hand, G in the right, giving you basically just a G major chord. So C, well the C first, C chord, B and G, which gives us time to come up and play the G minor 11 chord over the B flat. So again, that is B flat, G, D, G, C. And then just as we've done before, you go down to the E, back up to the A, down to the A chord, A minor 7, A, C, G with the A in the left hand. F leading back to the D and G. F, and again here is the only difference, C, G instead of C, F. So again, that is C to C major, B and G, E, A, then to the A minor 7, F, C to G. Let's put that together, starting with the first part of phrase 3, so the D7 chord. All we have now for the final quarter of the chorus, the final part of the chorus, is we essentially are playing a couple of chords alongside this sort of melody. So it's really just quite simple, A, B, C, B, A, G, with a couple of chords. First chord is just a C major chord, which we play with a G and an E in our left hands. The full chord is G, E in your left, and then C, E in your right. Once you play this chord, we then come up here and play A and then B by itself. And as we play the A and the B, you can have a little think about your left hand and move across to octave A's to prepare for the next chord, which is just the C and E again, but this time with A octaves. So it's the same chord, it's just the first time it's with G and E. Then you've got A and A, C and E. Once you play this chord, we're going to hit that upper C, hold on that for a sec, Left hand is now going to drop down to just F sharp, this lower F sharp, so not the one up here, the one down here. This pinky, or whatever finger you're using up here to play the upper C on top of the melody, you're going to bring down to the B and play that at the same time with the F sharp. And while you do that, your thumb is also going to play C and D. Now you can do this if you're comfortable with your fingers quickly stretching like that. Otherwise, do what I do, a sort of bluesy jazz technique. Use your thumb to play both C and D at the same time. So left hand is just an F sharp, right hand plays just C, D and the upper B together at the same time. C, D, B, F sharp in the bass. And then to finish the chorus, A by itself, left hand's going to play G and D together again, but this time with a C major chord, just a standard C major, C, E, G. And then D and G again in your left hand, B in the right. Let's play through all of that one more time, and then we'll go back from the second half of the chorus. So, starts off with the C and E chord, and G and E in your left hand. A, B, back down to C and E, but with A octaves in the bass this time. Upper C. Then you've got C and D with the upper B, while your left hand plays just an F sharp. A, C major, G, which is G, D, B in your right. G instead of the F, and then let's just do that last bit one more time. The important thing that I will reiterate about this song is the melody of your piano chords should match the rhythm of the vocals. So match what you're playing here to the lyrics, and that's how you get your rhythm of the melody and of the chords and everything like that. And with that being said, just to finish off this video, let's again run through the entirety of the chorus from start to finish. That's the first half. Second half. That then takes you back into the verse. And I believe you play all of that through once, and then you come up here and go and play the same thing up there at the octave, but you want to play the second half of the main progression. So here you would instead go up to there. If you have any questions, please let me know. Again, I am very sorry that it's taken me this long to get this video out, but obviously I've been busy. Once I start making money full-time on YouTube, I can do these tutorials once, twice a week, and everyone will be happy. But until then, I need to work. So anyway, again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in part 3, which I promise I will be releasing hopefully in the next 3, 4, 5 days.